and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, 18-hour special initiative that celebrates the undying entrepreneurial spirit of micro, small and medium enterprises. Today, I'll bring you a quick recap of an exclusive conversation with Shopper Stop that we did earlier. And on the show today, first up, on our Insights segment, a conversation with the team behind the table. And on Bright Sparks tonight, we're featuring Talent Edge and Swati Dry Fruits. It's a packed show then, let's get started. We are in the thick, of course, of the festive season, so what better time to get you an in-depth insight into the retail industry than right now. Here's a snippet of an exclusive conversation that I had with B.S. Nagesh of the Shopper Stop fame earlier. Take a listen.
Unfortunately, in the Indian system, the whole retail FDI has become a mess. It's been totally messed up because this is the only country where FDI in retail has come as single brand, multi-brand, online, offline, retail, marketplace, now food, non-food. I mean, it's a total mess. So this is not a regime in terms of FDI where the whole industry can take benefit. I mean, this is something where only selectively people can take benefit. Unless the FDI law becomes absolutely simple and straight, honestly, very few people are getting benefited. So today, online players are getting benefited because it is more favorable to online. Its single brand is becoming benefited because the foreign direct investment, the foreign brands are able to come into India through the single brand. I mean, it surprises me that an Indian single brand, okay, for him the regulations have become tougher than the foreign single brand if FDI is applicable. So I would say currently it is not very congenial, okay, and there's a lot that the government has to do. I think you have to take a very clear economic business interest and not a political call.
How do you manage relationships when you work with family to ensure that the fine line between personal and professional is maintained? How do you also manage to retain your edge in the hospitality sector, which sees innovation and new launches almost daily? I caught up with the couple behind the table, Mumbai's high-end restaurant, asking them these questions and more. Take a listen. Jay and Gauri, thank you very much for speaking with us here on ET Now. Let me kick this conversation off with you, Gauri. You have a training and you've trained as a chartered accountant. Decided to take the plunge, if I can call it that, into the hospitality and food business. Just run us through what your experience has been.
I haven't looked back a single day. I loved what I did before, but I love what I do now even more. And I have to say that whatever legal and accounting background I have has actually really helped in sort of running this business. So yeah, I think it's been not the most natural progression from one profession to another, but it's sort of all worked out.
Talk about innovation in the hospitality, in the food business in India. Are we seeing enough of that happening? And if not, what advice would you have for our viewers in terms of how, even if you're a small company, even if you're a startup, why it is possibly crucial to innovate?
I think innovation is integral to a business being successful, but where the innovation can happen is sort of, relative. I don't think you need to be sort of experimental for the sake of it, or try to be different for the sake of it. I think it can happen, on small levels, but you're just, improving an existing system, or you are coming up with something completely new. But I think innovation is key, but I think some people sort of feel the need to differentiate on a very noticeable level, to the point where it can actually sort of interfere with what you're actually trying to do, which is just serve great food. So I think you have to find the balance between innovation and quality.
I was discussing about what's happening in Bombay. If you look at it today, Lower Parel has become the F&B center. The number of restaurants, Todi Mill, there's about 15 restaurants there, where Blue Frog had started 9 years ago. And right across Kamla Mills, I think there will be 40 restaurants end of 2018. So there's lots happening, and there's a lot of young entrepreneurs who wanted to open restaurants. I mean, restaurant, there is like a glam factor, right? Everyone who in their lifetime wants to open a restaurant.
We've been doing a series of interviews here on the Leaders of Tomorrow, where we've been talking to family-run, owned and managed businesses, MSME, startups, entrepreneurs. I want to talk to the two of you, and I'll probably start with you, Gauri, and ask you what advice you'd probably have for our viewers in terms of how to make a relationship work, whether it's professional or personal, because when you're working with family, the two are blurred.
Yeah, I mean, it's different, I think, depending on what the relationship is between the family members. So I think it's a very different equation if you're siblings or working with your parents, maybe, as opposed to working with your spouse. And I think that the most important thing is to have a clear understanding between the family members as to what your roles are at work, so that you're not sort of treading on each other's toes, and just giving there's bound to be disagreements and arguments, but you're just sort of trying to reduce the scope for that. And I think that's the key thing, is just having those boundaries in the workplace. And also the second thing I would say is that just leaving work at work and not bringing it home.
Is that easy? Leaving work at work?
No, it is not. But you have to do that, because if you don't, then you're going to bring work at home, and then it becomes an extended work, right? For a family business, there are three very important things. One is you have to trust your partner, and they have to be like-minded. And the third thing, very important thing, is both of them, or any number of partners, have to have the same idea, have to believe in the project. I mean, if you don't believe in the project, guess what? There will be ego clashes, and there will be disagreements. And when you're passionate about something, you definitely make it happen. It becomes easier to have a family member, because the family member is there 24/7 to support you and to guide you when you're missing something. And I think you need to trust your partner.
Gauri, what do you do when a family-run business is thinking about succession planning? And I'm coming from a place where I want to understand and ask you to give our viewers advice in terms of whether family managed or family owned can be professionally managed, especially in your industry.
No, definitely. I mean, as a business grows, it's impossible to, I think, micromanage it beyond a certain point. So you do want to get professionals involved, to grow your team. And I think that in terms of succession planning, it's about being open, maybe, and knowing your sort of successors well enough, their strengths, and knowing who would succeed and basically be able to take the business forward, not because you want them to, but because they actually are interested in it and they have the same passion and vision as you, and that they're capable of doing that. And where I think at that point it definitely helps to have sort of professionals involved to sort of maybe be an objective part of that process.
And also, any business, whether it's a family business or a non-family business, the business has to be run like a business. And just because it's a mom and pop show, you can't just take it lightly.
Going back to my previous question, in terms of having professionals who possibly come on board of family managed businesses, is there enough understanding of succession planning in India? And do you think that's being done enough in your industry?
I think our industry specifically is still a very young industry, so succession planning probably hasn't come into it. But I think when it comes to hospitality, I mean, of course, there is the scope for that too. I mean, I do know, you look at sort of Zorawar Kalra, he's inherited his father's business and grown it, and but I think that the point is that there has to be the same passion. I think that's key, and especially, I mean, I'm sure it's for any business, but especially in hospitality, you're serving food, and you're sort of, like Jay said, you're appealing to an instant sort of pleasure, and there has to be passion in that. So you might very well want to sort of pass on your business to your the next generation, but they have to want to sort of do it. So I think that's the key thing in succession. But I haven't seen it happen sort of that much in this industry yet, but I do think it's because it's a very young industry.
But any new industry, people tend to follow a successful model, and they feel like just because one restaurant or any restaurant has become successful, they will do exactly the same thing or do better. And a lot of people, when you ask them, what is it that you're doing? Oh, we are going to have a great food. So that's the basic necessity for great food. You can't just run a restaurant thinking that you'll do a great food. Everyone who has opened the restaurant will not think about any differently. Everyone wants to do the best they can, right? So, again, once you know how to run the business, it'll take a little time, but it's a lovely business to be in F&B because there's so much happening everywhere in the world. Right now, the food industry has taken over, and it has become like celebrity chefs that we never used to hear. Chefs used to be like cooks, right? Today, chefs like Alex. I think he has been here for 5 years. Probably everyone in India, in our industry, knows him, how good of a chef he is.
Okay. As I'm winding down this interview, if I can ask you in one line to tell our viewers what has been your biggest learning or your biggest challenge and therefore learning from that.
It's been so much of fun, and I'm learning every day, and it doesn't stop. So you need to learn, and you need to know how to make mistakes and learn from the mistakes and do not repeat. That's my advice.
I would just say get into it for the right reasons. You know, it's very, as Jay said, glamorous to have your own restaurant, but I've never worked this hard in my life, and I love it. So that's good, I guess. But you know, it's really important that you do it for the right reasons, I think.
Time for a quick break. On the other side, Talent Edge and Swati Dry Fruits. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and we're featuring Talent Edge and Swati Dry Fruits. E-learning is no more new to India, be it information as far as technology is concerned, management services or design and art. The internet has made the world a classroom. On Bright Sparks tonight, we have an education technology firm, Talent Edge. Paulime Mukhopadhyay has more.
Indian education system is changing with the shifting mindset of students. Traditional classroom training courses are slowly becoming a passé. Online education tech firms are gaining popularity and changing the way education is delivered to students to solve the last mile problems. Bringing live and interactive learning in digital format to over 3 lakh individuals and corporate learners in India is Delhi-based startup Talent Edge.
So tell us about the various kind of courses that you provide for students here.
So first of all, we focus on higher education sector, folks who are working professionals who want to continue their education. That's what we focus on, and we have range of courses right from traditional courses like marketing, operations, finance, brand management, etc., to the current trends like digital marketing, social media marketing, business analytics, the data mining, etc. So we have mix of both.
Looking at the situation in India, how reliable do you think are these online certified courses?
So first of all, we don't provide degrees. As I said, we focus on executive education. These are certification courses. And you're right, when you ask a question about reliability, that's extremely critical in education. Reliability is the most important factor. So for us, the reliability comes from our partner institutes. So when I partner with a XLRI or a MICA, the student gets a certification from a XLRI or a MICA, and that provides the credibility or reliability to the certification.
Right. So do you think online courses in India provide any advantage over the offline classroom courses?
That's a great question, and you know that's always a debate when we started the company, because when we started the company, one of the things we were focused on, how do we provide same or better experience to our students than they get in a face-to-face classroom. In a country like India, the biggest thing for people is the biggest challenge in education is the shortage of quality faculty. And what an online education like ours, which is live and interactive digital, enables students to log into a class at a home broadband speed of 256 kbps from anywhere in the country and gets the best education from, say, XLRI Jamshedpur or a MICA Ahmedabad or even a Jack Welch Institute from Washington. In fact, one of the things my technology team has focused on, has been able to successfully bring on the table, is to exactly give the same experience what you get in a live classroom. So what we jokingly say is that you can do on our platform whatever you can do in a face-to-face classroom, you can do all that in our platform, which is social learning, group presentation, case studies, assignments, you can club the students, etc., etc.
It really sounds fancy when you put it like that, but do you think the quality is a bit compromised for the courses that are provided online?
If it's pure online, which is only recorded, then sometimes people face a challenge of completion rate, that people are not able to finish the courses because it actually depends on the discipline of the person who finishes the course. What we do at Talent Edge is we call it Talent Edge Way. For each of our courses have case studies baked in, each of our courses have assignments baked in, each of our courses have industry guest lectures baked in. And all this is live and interactive. All this gets you certification from one of the topmost Ivy League institutes in the country.
So let's talk about the government of India's initiatives like Digital India campaign or Skill India movement. Do you think companies like Talent Edge provide any kind of contribution to these kind of campaigns?
Yes, we are partner with the National Skill Development Corporation. We work with NSTC on multiple sector skill councils and provide the training to thousands of people every year. So we are a partner. In fact, not only, so you can see us a combo of Digital India and Skill India initiative. So we are providing digital education and providing in a way which is to skill people. So we are clearly a combo of Digital India and Skill India, and clearly what the Prime Minister wants to drive and focus on making sure these students get best education. We are partner with that. And one more important point there is that for Skill India to succeed, the key is the quality of the instructor who's teaching and skilling the students. And to mitigate the shortage of quality instructors, the digital education is a must.
In a crowded space of education startups, Talent Edge became one of the first education technology firms to be credited with an ISO 9001-2008 certifications in India. Virtually creating classroom-like experiences for students, Talent Edge is on an agenda to score high in years to come.
Swing no occasion is complete without the inclusion of dry fruits, but for Swati Dry Fruits based in Navi Mumbai, every day is a celebration. That's what the management had to tell Pooja Jain. She spoke with them earlier. Take a look.
Swati Dry Fruits is perhaps the only entirely female-led and run dry food enterprise to have successfully straddled both the wholesale and retail market by establishing a bustling presence in both. With an in-house 2,000 square feet state-of-the-art processing plant, the company churns out an impressive 40 tons of dried fruit per month. All on the laurels of its female staff of just 30 employees. Company Director Sheetal Tejwani walked us through how she's built the business from the ground up.
So in the food and beverage industry, customer safety is key. So at Swati Dry Fruits, how do you ensure that customer safety is a priority? How do you ensure that only the safest farming techniques are leveraged?
We have approved vendors. We have a certain format on which we approve our vendors. So we've been buying dry fruits only from those vendors. We follow all the rules and norms that are required for food safety. So not a step is missed out on that. So right from the beginning to the end, we follow that to see that the material is safe.
So some of the country's top cereal processing companies, chocolate companies, ice cream companies are all your clients at the wholesale level. But 8 years ago, you entered the retail market with the launch of your premium quality roasted nuts product line, Nature's Bite. Walk us through your strategy there.
I've had a lot of people coming up to me and saying, you know, when they know that I have a brand, Nature's Bite, they say, oh, we have seen it on the shelves. And that is what makes me feel very good, that it is recognized in the market. And people have liked it, and they have accepted it. That is what is very important to me.
So you enjoy a sizable production capacity of 40 tons a month of product. That said, how do you balance maintaining that high output without ever sacrificing on safety or hygiene of the product?
We just follow some schedules where we know, okay, one set of people are just working on institutions, the other set are working on retail, and the other set are working on gifting items. So we have different set of people working for different, so the same thing, the safety is followed for all of them.
40 tons a month figure leads us to believe that there's some economies of scale at work here. So walk us through how you cluster your product groups and leverage those economies of scale.
As and when required, we get the material that is processed, sent out, and then after that we get a second lot. So nothing is really stored at our end. It is just we get the material as and when required.
Dry fruits are such an integral part of so many of our country's cultural celebrations. That said, how do you account for the festive season upswing in your overall annual sales strategy?
There is definitely a uptake in the festive season, and the summer season there is not such a good offtake, and it goes right from Raksha Bandhan to Christmas and New Year. But the peak season is of course Diwali.
We couldn't help but notice that you have an all-female staff here. That said, what was the rationale behind that decision?
I wanted, you know, the women who were sitting at home, you know, who were housewives, to come out and make a livelihood for themselves. So that was something which I really wanted. I feel wonderful about it, being a woman myself, because there were so many women, I really got them out of their homes to come and work with me and, you know, have a livelihood for themselves.
With its flagship retail brand Nature's Bite quickly penetrating retail outlets across the country, consumers don't have to go very far to get a taste of Swati dry fruits, roasted and salted almonds, cashews, pistachios, nor its raisins and dates. But another feather in its cap, well beyond its delicacies, is that the company has become a shining beacon for female empowerment in the process, thereby achieving the double bottom line.
Completely out of time then on this episode of The Leaders of Tomorrow. We'd love to hear from you. Do write in to us at leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com. You can reach us on social media as well. The hashtag LOT is what you need to use for that, or call us on that number that you see on your screen. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.